All right, let's get into it. When I say Barcelona, what pops into your head? I'm guessing Gaudi's crazy cool architecture, sunny beaches, streets that are just buzzing with life, right? It's a city the whole world seems to be in love with. But what happens when that love gets to be a little too much? When a city's greatest strength, its incredible appeal, starts to become its biggest problem? Well, this is the story of how Barcelona is trying to save itself from literally being loved to death.
For Barcelona, this isn't just some academic question. It's their day-to-day reality. And it's forcing the city to make some really tough, radical choices about who it is and where it's going.
To really wrap your head around the challenge here, you first have to understand the sheer scale of Barcelona's tourism boom. The numbers, well, they're frankly just staggering.
And it all starts with icons like this, right? The Sagrada Família, it's not just a church, it's a global landmark. A beacon that pulls in millions of people, and it perfectly captures that unique beauty that's put Barcelona on everyone's must-see list.
So look at this number, 12 million. That's how many visitors stayed in Barcelona's hotels in 2023 alone. Now, to get a sense of just how massive that is, think about this. Back in 1990, that number was just 1.7 million. That's almost a seven-fold increase in just over 30 years. It's an explosion.
And if you think that's wild, the airport tells an even more dramatic story. 50 million passengers came through in 2023. Back in 1990, a mere 9 million. Barcelona didn't just become a destination, it's become a massive global crossroads. But all that success, it comes at a price. The economic numbers might look amazing, but the feeling for the people who actually live there is totally different. This stat isn't about money or growth, it's about quality of life. Over 60% of Barcelonans feel that the city has hit a wall, that it just can't take anymore.
And here's the thing, this pressure isn't spread out evenly, not at all. It's dangerously focused in what the city itself calls a red zone, an area where the crush of tourism has become truly critical.
The city government actually mapped these spots out, these 15 high-traffic areas or HTAs. And you can see they're all clustered right in the historic, commercial heart of Barcelona. This is where the world's idea of Barcelona smacks right into the daily lives of its residents. And this chart, wow, this really shows you what that concentration looks like. In the old city, the Ciutat Vella, you've got over 14,000 tourists per square kilometer, every single day. That's more than double the next district over, and 5 times the average for the rest of the city. It's basically a city within a city.
And when you get that saturated, there are real tangible consequences. Public spaces become unusable for locals, rents go through the roof, and those traditional shops, the local bakery, the butcher, the hardware store, they get replaced by souvenir shops and generic fast food joints. And essential services like sanitation and security, they're pushed to the absolute breaking point.
So, facing this full-blown crisis, Barcelona is trying a pretty bold pivot. This isn't just about crowd control. It's a plan to fundamentally change its tourism model by looking inward, to the parts of the city that most visitors have never even seen.
The city's official strategy basically breaks down into 4 key moves. 1. Actively pull tourists away from that saturated core. 2. Use taxes to discourage things with the biggest negative impact, like day-tripping cruise ships. 3. Promote a smarter, more sustainable kind of tourism. And 4, just get a better handle on managing the whole thing.
Now, one of their most powerful and, you can bet, most controversial tools is a policy called PUAT. It's basically a super aggressive urban planning rule. In the most crowded central zones, it creates what they call degrowth areas. This means no new hotels or tourist apartments can open, period. If one closes, another can't open in its place. It's a radical move to actively shrink the tourism footprint in the city's core. And you can just imagine the pushback. This is the city basically saying livability is more important than limitless growth.
So, okay, if you're trying to pull people away from the center, where do you send them? This is where the strategy gets really fascinating. Barcelona is rediscovering and, in a way, monumentalizing its own forgotten history on the outskirts of the city.
Take this spot, for example, Turó de la Rovira. For decades, it was just a hill with some great views. But now, the city is highlighting its incredible history as the site of anti-aircraft batteries that defended the city during the Spanish Civil War. Suddenly, it's not just a pretty view, it's a place of conflict and resilience.
But the story doesn't stop there. After the war, these same concrete bunkers became the foundations for a shantytown, the Barri dels Canons, built by migrants who came looking for work. So this one spot tells this complex, layered story of war, migration, and survival, a story about the very people who built modern Barcelona.
And this right here just perfectly illustrates the city's two different realities. On one side, you've got the elegant Example district, built for the rich. On the other, you have neighborhoods like Bon Pastor, with its rows of identical cheap houses built to house the working-class folks who fueled the city's growth. Both are Barcelona's story, but until now, only one has been on the tourist map. The main force behind this whole reevaluation is MUBA, the Barcelona City History Museum. And their goal isn't just about preservation, it's about completely reframing the city's identity. By officially saying that these sites, worker housing, Civil War bunkers, are a key part of the city's grand narrative, MUBA is arguing that the story of Barcelona isn't just about kings and artists. It's also the story of the working people who built the modern city. They're making these places just as important as the Gothic cathedrals.
The strategy is also about reclaiming infrastructure. The Rec Com Dal, this ancient canal, is being turned into a green corridor for walking and cycling. This creates a brand new attraction that links neighborhoods together and offers a really cool, sustainable way to see a different side of the city. It's literally weaving history into modern life.
So, how do all these pieces fit together? The goal, really, is to weave these two Barcelonas, the saturated core and the rediscovered periphery, into one single, more sustainable city that works for everyone.
On a practical level, you've got tech-savvy solutions like Zonabus 4.0. It's a smart system designed to tackle one of the biggest nightmares, all those tourist coaches. It limits how many can be in the center, moves their stops away from residential areas, and uses real-time data to stop traffic jams before they start.
And it also means investing big in the cultural hubs that already exist outside the city center. For example, a nearly €8 million project is happening right now to totally renovate the escalators on Montjuïc Mountain, making it way easier to get to its amazing museums and parks.
So ultimately, Barcelona isn't trying to stop being the city the world adores. It's trying to become a more complete version of itself, one where the world-famous center and the locally loved periphery are knit together into a single, stronger city, for both the people who live there and the people who visit. It's a massive experiment in city planning and in historical memory. And it leaves us with a really fascinating question. For all the other cities around the world struggling with their own success, could digging into their own forgotten stories actually be the key to building a more sustainable future?